So, Jim, first of all, good morning. I hope you're doing well.
Well, it's good afternoon at this point, but that's okay.
Good afternoon, whatever. So I know we don't want to turn into a podcast that necessarily only talks about movies or reviews movies, but
I don't think we're going to get there anytime soon. We're still pretty far away.
okay.
Other than your foot talk around Melania, that rewatching that segment concerns me.
Well, watch the movie and you're going to be like, shit, he's right. And I don't mean as in like I have to be right. I'm telling you, when my wife commented on it, I knew it wasn't just me. But by the way, she has some lovely shoes. But anyway, no. So my wife and I were watching Nuremberg last night. I don't know if
Oh,
you,
good movie. Really well done movie.
but no, we were watching Nuremberg, and they were talking about the question kept coming up is how does this happen? And talking about, and for those of you who have no idea about the movie or
Spoiler.
no context about what Nuremberg would mean, we're talking about the Nazis, the famous
Wait, I
Nuremberg.
want to just stop you there. If you have no context what Nuremberg means, push pause on this this podcast. Go watch the damn movie. Do a little searching on a history channel. Like, I'm sorry. If you don't know that history, this is why we're repeating it, kids.
And agreed at everything you just said. I can't. There's
Okay, let us resume.
So anyway, so the question kept coming up is how does this happen? Meaning, how does an entire country of people, buy into this horrific stuff? And he said, and was it Kelly? What was his first name? Anyway, Kelly, the psychiatrist in the movie, who by the way was a real person, because I know that sometimes when you watch a historical movie, they'll sort of massage a character to make the story move along, but that actually was all true. But he said, no, they're just real people who ignored it for too long. And so it's a great movie. It really, really is. It's fucking depressing because of it has to be because of the subject matter. But what's the actor's name? The Australian guy, the lead plays Gehrig.
I'm just gonna let you go for this one because
You suck. You suck so bad. Anyway, he is really, really phenomenal.
Russell Crowe you're talking about.
Russell Crowe, thank you, ass. But glad I got Jim smiling.
Hey folks, that's one for Jim. It's a Sunday. I'm gonna preach.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take the hit, my friend. It's okay. But no, he asks him, he's like, how did you follow a man like this? And he's like, well, after World War One, and this is all true, the US humiliated Germany. We didn't just beat them up for causing the war. We crippled them. We crippled their economy. We neutered them. We really, really did. And he said, here was a man that talked about getting Germany's glory back. And I thought,
Yeah.
make America great again.
Welcome to Life in the Baggage Claim and our short form video content series. We produce new episodes weekly and understand that not everyone can spend 50, 60 minutes listening to an entire episode. These shorts are your ticket to get the best of the weekly episode. Make Germany great again?
Well, no, talking about a time and talking about a time when America was, America's hot now and everybody's after America. Of course, the sad part of that is, or the different part of it is, because Hitler and his regime were able to completely control the media. And I mean, all of it. Well, no, I mean, well, there was some resistance, but I mean, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have social media. We just had radio. And in fact, in the 40s, unless you had money, you didn't have TV. Actually, TV didn't come out to the 50s, did it? Anyway, bottom line is you only had radio and you only had newspapers. So I imagine, was much, much easier to literally put a kibosh on anything you didn't want to go out. Because if not, the Gestapo would come drag you out of your bed and kill you in the middle of the night. My point is, because of the internet, I think it's a little bit different now because other things
Is it though? Like we're starting to censor things,
Well, no, I know. But I mean, there are things, well, you and I, for example, not that anybody really gives a shit what we have to say, but we're saying the true parts out
I'm
loud.
waiting for the knock in the night.
But I mean, we're saying the true parts out loud. It's out there if you want it. There are dissenting voices out there. You can't, I don't care who you are.
Funny enough, we are starting to represent the free, independent media of the United States.
I know.
We are first amendment owners right now. And I mean, I've adopted a little bit of that watching, as I always say, Keith Edwards is a fan of mine. He's doing a little bit of sensationalism in his headlines lately. And that gets me a little bothered because I don't think we need that. But he does talk about how we are the current free media, the free press. We
Yeah.
are it. And
So
I'm sort of laughing, going, who the hell ever said I should be given the rights to be the free press?
same page. I was just thinking, who the hell ever thought I should be listened to? But no, so we're getting it out there. But yeah, but the bottom line is the only good news is that, and we'll dive into this more, but with this stupid ass war, it's a war. In Iran, other countries, thank God, the NATO countries that Trump's been trying to bully for the last year are like, he's like, well, we could really use the help. And they're like, fuck you. Like, no, you've been crapping on us for a year. You've blasted us with tariffs. You've called us weak. You said we're not doing our part financially and all this. No, you need help now. Forget it.
So here we are. It's Sunday. By the time we release this, the world may not be here anymore the way things are going, because Monday is the end of the 48-hour ultimatum from the Trump administration, where Daddy Trump said, I will do things that you've never experienced and you'll be done in a heartbeat. And I'm thinking to myself, there's only one way to define that, as most people are defining it. That is,
Right.
Daddy is so interested in seeing what happens with nuclear weapons, he wants to fire one. Now, I'm all for him firing one, but I'd like him to be there when it goes off so he can experience it firsthand. Because I think that's the way you should experience a nuclear weapon, is firsthand, up close and personal, getting your DNA zapped and buzzed and thrown in the obliterate, and sent off to the cosmos. Because that's the only way you should use your weapon at this point, right?
Well, you and I have been friends long enough that you rarely surprise me anymore, but I was like, where's Jim going with this? You're like, go ahead and fire it off. I was like, what? What is he?
Like, what did he change?
I don't know. Like, wait, did Jim get hit on the head last night? Or, but no, I agree with you. Well, and the problem, the interesting thing, there's many interesting, horrible things about all of this, but I think the thing that has really come up that has made a lot of people scratch their head about this is the infallible nature of America's supremacy over the last 60, 70 years has been shaken to its core. Not only do we have countries saying, no, we're not going to help you in the Strait of Hormuz. You started
Yeah,
this.
isn't that interesting, right? All of these allies that we spent years building good faith relationships with, who generally, even when Papa Bush got out there and Baby Bush got out there and did things that were sort of unspeakable, jumped to his side and did what they could to maintain the status quo.
Well, I never thought in my life that I was going to give George W. Bush credit for anything. But the truth of the matter is, even though we were lied to, even though,
Loud, right? But he did ask permission to tell us the lies.
well, that's what I was going to say. Even in Afghanistan and Iraq, obviously we were lied to, and he lied to Congress and everybody else. He did get their permission, and more importantly, he did build a coalition. Now, it wasn't a huge coalition, but he built a coalition with some of our longest standing allies. Now, of course, when the shit blew up, pardon the pun, and it was obvious that it was all massaged and disinformation and everything else, yeah, you had to rebuild a little bit of that because they felt duped. But at least they were at least they were brought into the fold first. What Trump has done is, what is that? Ready, fire, aim is basically what he did. He's like, we're going to start this, and of course the rest of the world will fall in line. And it's like, they might have if you hadn't been such a flaming prick to them for the last 14 months. You just,
Yeah,
but
those lovely tariffs. How are those working out for the rest of the world? Our allies aren't through.
but that's the mindset of a narcissist. I can treat you any way I want to, but you're going to be loyal to me, right? And when
we were saying you got to pay for your NATOs that we've always paid for, yeah, you know what? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, and it makes me sad, and it makes me wonder if we do drop a nuke, which I hope. Oh God, I know I'm reaching real hard here, but I'm hoping if he makes that order, that they'll drop the 25th amendment and get his ass
I
out.
would hope that happens before.
I am hoping that
if someone even gets a sense that he's asking for codes and he's ready to push a button, that someone is in there ready to put a gun to his head. Because frankly, we start a nuclear war, folks. It's over. There's very little chance we survive.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, because this right now, poll-wise, is the most unpopular war ever in United States history at this point. And 3 weeks in, it's the most unpopular. So if I got to believe that anybody who wants to remain in power, and I'm going to sound petty here for a minute, but it's the only way I can think of it. If you want to stay in power, being someone who allowed someone in your party to drop a nuclear bomb without stopping it,
you're all in trouble.
That's
I don't care what party you're in at this point. You didn't take action. you're all in trouble. In fact, you basically will destroy the United States. Whether we get hit by
Right.
a bomb or not, we're done. We're
Right. So you're wearing a scarlet A for the rest of your days.
Is that what it is now? It's called an A for atomic. Is that how we're doing it?
Nice. Nice. Sorry, former English teacher. No, even if it worked
Okay.
out. All right, so
Christy
even,
Alley was the best. I mean, she did the best job of playing
yeah,
Scarlet A,
all
you
right,
know, that's my take.
I'll go with it. I'll go with it. But no, even if this worked out perfectly, and I'm doing the air quotes, and I need everybody to walk with me through this for just a moment. Even if we dropped a nuke, I go back to Japan, and that was horrific. You know, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, horrific. But it was not one. It was two and done. Like, they didn't retaliate. It is what it is. If we were to drop a nuke on Iran and that was it somehow, that horrific. Oh my God, please don't. But I mean, if that was the end of it, that in of itself would condemn everybody in the U.S. who
Now, you
would
put
who
that in perspective
heard
of
it. But
in
here's
the go ahead,
oh,
please.
here's my concern though. What Trump has done, not we, what Trump has done is unleashed. He's killed. We were the moral authority in the world. Even if between you and me, that was a little bit of bullshit. We were hardly the moral authority, but we had laws behind us. We did our best to portray that. Basically, Putin has come out and said, well, shit, if the U.S. can attack anybody, then so
So
can
can we.
we. So what's to stop if he wakes up in the morning and he thinks he has a tactical advantage? We hit Iran with a nuclear weapon. What's to stop Putin from pushing the button and nuking DC?
Great.
And I'm serious. And then we're in a full blown. Then everybody loses. I
We
don't
lose
want.
anyways, let's be honest. The
No,
fallout
no,
of
I don't want Iran to lose like that. I don't, because the problem is, if we could build a bomb that could just kill
the bad guys?
the bad guy. Just
Are you talking about the bad guys who murdered protesters, right? This
oh
is
yeah.
the same protest like that we murdered protesters here too, right?
Oh, right. Wait, those were the same protesters that Donald Trump said, "I've got your back.
Yeah.
If you push against your government, I've got your back." And then went, "Wait, what? Who?" And 20 to
Yeah.
30,000 were killed. I'm
The
saying
same
if
protesters who were told prices would go down, gas would be cheaper, food would be cheaper.
right.
I mean, the same country that he's supposedly supposed to govern, right?
Right. Well, see, and this is that left right thing you and I are try to be very careful not to perpetuate openly. But I know as a lefty, if there was a bomb that could magically just kill the people in Iran who have been subjugating their people and all that stuff, I'll push the button. I'll have nightmares about it for the rest of my life, but I'll push the button, because that might give that country an opportunity to actually have some democracy, some freedom of speech, freedom of all of that. I might push the button, okay? But that's bullshit. That's never going to happen. So if you drop a nuke, folk like you and me, who are just going to work every day trying to live a life, we're the ones who are going to get killed, because most likely most likely the bad guys have a bunker.
I mean, this takes me back to a real OG series, Star Trek, one of my favorites, where they have advanced beyond physical war. Instead, a computer would tell everyone a conflict, and the computer would decide how many people would survive and how many people.
Right, and they would walk into those things that would
You know, it was a humane way to deal with conflict, so to speak. Nobody had to die that didn't have to die necessarily. It was all a game of odds.
Right.
So you're sort of saying if you had the button that could do that, you'd do that. So maybe that's where we should leverage AI.
Well, like I said, as a good lefty, do any of us, and I'm being serious, and beyond the fact that this was an illegal war and all that kind of stuff, have any of us shed a tear that Khomeini's dead?
No, but
No.
do we even know?
I mean, I hate the thought of anybody dying. Don't get me wrong, but and especially the way we did it, because I mean, was he a bad man? Did he do bad things to his people? Sure, but then you got your two-time Baggy winner Pete Hegseth this week saying that the Iranian government spends money on weapons and everything else instead of their
It has been one of those moments where you just sit there and you go, really? Do you all listen to yourselves? Do you ever?
I wish I could have been there with a mirror and just walk up to him and hold the fucking mirror up and go, "Did you hear what you just said?"
It's like that every week. This is what exhausts
the year on our military. $1 trillion.
It exhausts me to sit there every week and think about everything I've heard said and done. I'm like, what's exactly what we're doing?
Oh, to the letter. I mean, yes, obviously we didn't kill 20,000 protesters in this country, but you know what?
Didn't we though?
Two is too fucking too many, and that's number one. And then the other thing is, there's a way. If I shoot Jim in broad daylight and kill Jim, shoot him through the heart and
on Broadway in New York.
Did I say Broadway?
No, I mean, that's what
Oh,
Trump
okay, yeah.
said.
Oh, Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue is what he said. Yeah, yeah. But no, if I do that, that's one way to kill a human being. If I somehow have the ability to make it sure that Jim can't eat for 6 weeks and he fucking slowly starves to death, I've still killed him. Now we can talk about which is humane and which is worse
Yeah,
and which is
yeah.
better and all that. But like what we're doing to Cuba, that shit, we're strangling those people. And we're not strangling the Castro family. We're strangling
Folks who
Mr. and
probably
Mrs.
were pro-America at one point.
Right. But I'm saying we're slowly starving people who just want to live their fucking lives.
Yeah.
And to suggest that that's
Oh,
not
where else are we doing
how's that not a war crime? Or
Where else
maybe
are
it
we
is.
doing that, Chuck? Where else are we starving people and limiting health care and making it hard for people to get by, dude? Where else, Chuck? Where else? Come on, tell me.
That would be the US, Jim. But
Oh, hey, you got it.
but
This is a good show today. I like this. We're
I
doing
know.
so well.
But yeah, I mean we're doing it here, absolutely. But I mean, if you do it to your own people, that's fucking horrible. Don't get me wrong. But if you do it to another country, just because your leader, your King Cheeto leader, has decided that because his Secretary of State has a grudge against country he's never been to, but his parents came from, you're going to starve an entire population just to prove a point? Like, I don't know which is worse, and I don't want to play that game, but I can fucking tell you that if you do it at home, it's one thing. If you do it to a foreign country, that's a fucking war crime.
Now let's add a little more fun to this. For those of you traveling starting next week, you know that TSA is going to be supplemented by ICE.
Yep.
So
Yep.
watch out, people of color, people of non-white heritage, people who don't look like those who are wanting to make something happen, because you're all going to find yourself in tough shape in the airports and everywhere else. This is one of those things where I sit and go, this is all just part of it. This is part of how you start to round up the country.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think this was Kristallnacht and all these things came
Oh, yeah.
out, and
Oh, yeah.
we quickly found a way to take people who were actually the same fans of arts and things like that the
Yeah.
leader was a fan of, and then turn around and lock them up and kill them.
You mean like
So
randomly closing the Kennedy Center for 2 years because people
no,
stopped?
because it needs new marble.
No, because people stopped coming because he had this idea.
No, Chuck, you're totally mistaken here. You are so playing into the liberal playbook and listening to what the libtards are telling you. Because ultimately, it's just because the marble needs it.
Jim, I have been called a libtard by people that I consider friends. So I'll take that. I'll take.
Well, I didn't call you a libtard. I said you just believe in libtards.
Yeah, well, or you could
Because
call it
realistically,
radical
the
right,
Kennedy Center is just getting renewed marbles. Come
or
on.
you could call
And
it,
this thing was only torn down because it was decrepit. Falling apart.
or you could call.
And TSA's not being paid because, well, the liberals are stopping payment. Come on, Chuck, get with it. I don't understand why you're so against what is being said. It's like you've read a whole other version of the fake news.
Jim's on a roll this morning, folks.
Oh no, I think this is fun. This is the vibe.
I know. I'm messing with you. Well, no, and well, I saw. Okay,
Can't
so
wait till we have to do thumbnails and notes on this episode because what it's going to say about me.
so I've got to go here. So, to anybody listening who considers themselves right wing or right leaning or whatever, all you assholes that lost your shit over regular folk like Jim and I, we didn't do it, but I mean, regular folks like Jim and I talking shit about Charlie Kirk after he was assassinated. Now, do your research. Not a single leader, Democratic leader in Congress or otherwise, said anything other than thoughts and prayers, which is what you idiots say when there's a school shooting. Not a single leader, just rank and file schmucks like Jim and I. And again, we didn't post anything, but I'm making a point. You guys lost your mind at how horrible that was. So how you feeling now that your boy, Cheeto, went after and said that it was a good thing or a happy thing that Mueller died? Now, this is a man who served his country as the leader of the director of the FBI, a federal prosecutor.
I'm sorry, because I didn't hear what happened there because I haven't got on that.
So let me pull it up. So Robert Mueller died, what's today? 2 days ago. He died on Friday. Let me see if I can find. All right, let me see if I can find the Robert Mueller thing. So our president wrote, hold on, let me find it. Sorry, Trump.
I mean, I heard these comments offhand and I was trying to line out who died. I had a lot of hopefuls.
Okay, you ready? This is oddly enough a very short, concise post from Donald Trump on Truth Social,
And it wasn't him.
and this has been verified. This is not. This is out. This is
Right.
true. Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. President Donald J. Trump.
Well,
So,
there we go again, as Mary would say. That's my uncle forecasting things.
but that's what I'm saying. So all you
But
assholes,
I'm going to say this very clearly. I don't care. Rock me up. I hope the man dies. I don't wish anybody any ill will, but this man's gone beyond that. I can no longer say that. I'd be happy if the man was dead.
well, it's just and we've talked about this, and I will not belabor this point, but the right is beyond hypocrisy. They are completely beyond that now, because I don't see any of you guys, Fox News, any of you, fucking any of you guys, any of the guys at Congress, a couple of you that are retiring this year, stand up and say, too far. Too far. We lost our minds when certain people on X, on John Q. Public, said shit about Charlie Kirk, who, by the way, was a celebrity. And I truly believe that celebrities, you can say, I mean, you can't say, I'm going to go kill them. You can't say anything like that. But I believe if you're going to make yourself in the public eye and you're going to make money off of being in the public eye, I believe it's your God-given right as American free speech to say pretty much anything you want about those people. Now, I would hope that people would have class in what they said. But if Jim Hauck or Chuck Longerbeam wants to post, I think Charlie Kirk's an asshole, we can talk about whether it's in good taste or not, but it's certainly within our right. Okay.
All right.
But they all lost their shit when John Q. Public went in on Charlie Kirk. Here's the president of the United States showing gratitude or happiness that a man who served this country, right, left, everyone. And I'm talking about, listen to anybody in any Republican in Congress or past, future, whatever, said nothing but glowing things about Robert Mueller who served this country. And here's the president of the United States saying he's glad he's dead. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me, people. Where's your fucking hypocrisy? Do me a favor. Go in the comments and tell me how it's different. Please tell me how it's different that you lost your shit over an average citizen saying something about Charlie Kirk, a TV personality. And here's the president of the United States talking about.
We'll pause for you to say something. Go ahead, folks. We're listening.
Yeah. Oh, but it's going to be, it's going to be fucking cricket.
Okay. Hey, you know what, Chuck? I'm going to just drop in here my Baggy Award.
Here comes. Give it to me, Jim.
It's the Baggy Award. I'm going to go back to my friend, Karoline Leavitt, in her statements to the Pope this week on why he should be silenced because he's causing troubles. Now, I do like the clapback that Leo gave. Pope Leo went right back. Oh, yeah. She basically said he's a bad person. He shouldn't be saying anything and should be silenced.
So wait. Can I pause you for just a minute? You're really going to pick a fight from a guy from Chicago?
Right. I mean, it's like,
what's wrong with you? You're going to lose every time.
Well, and that's sort of been the joy of watching Pope Leo sort of take everything that's been said and why he's not supporting it. And I'm kind of sitting there going, and so all you people back in the days of Kennedy were worried that if Kennedy became president, the Pope would have an inroad to the presidency and controlling the United States. How's that working right now? Joe Biden, what we really have in my mind is we have the Antichrist and we have something other, could be any number of things, but is at least a prophet of good. Up dueling right now, getting ready for whatever end times we're going to launch on Monday. And, if I am predicting that right, and we find end times on Monday, I love all of you. You were wonderful people, the best people, the greatest people. You supported us. You made us happy. And we hope the best for you as you watch those zombies and the whatever arise from the nuclear fallout.
Yes. Thank you to all of you.
Yes. I personally hope that I get the blinky blinky and I'm gone. That's always been my hope, is I want to live somewhere near a major target. Yeah, so find a data center and head there if you know it's coming.
Did you finish your thought? Because I don't want to jump in, but there is
Karoline Leavitt telling the Pope that he should be silenced because he's a bad person. Mm-hmm. That's enough. That is all, as Amanda Priestley would say.
What we're saying, you're going to pick a fight with an American guy from fucking Chicago who, how many, I don't know, maybe off the top of your head, what is there, like 3 or 4 billion Catholics in the world?
More than that.
Yeah, okay, let's say 4 just for giggles. So half the world's Catholic and hang on his every word, and you're going to pick a fight with a guy who 4 billion people hang on his every word, and he's from Chicago. Look, I'm not the brightest bulb, but I know better than to pick a fight on Twitter with a guy or X with a guy from Chicago.
Well, and this goes back to Pope Leo
Pontiff or
even
no pontiff.
rejecting. He was offered a position on Trump's peace board, So the
And
Pope
he
has
said
been
it.
clapping back at Trump quite a bit.
Right, right. Well, okay, so Karoline Leavitt gets the
The baggy.
gets the baggy. I don't know if you ever watched
That's her second time. So she and Hegseth, being the top two names, are both sitting on 2 and 2.
Okay, okay. I don't know if you ever watch Midas Touch, but they call her Karoline Leavitt, and I love
Oh
that.
yeah,
Caroline Leavitt. Yeah,
Midas Touch again. Another one of our brothers in the free press.
absolutely. Yeah, who just won best news program and beat out what's that dumbass who used to be on Fox News, the woman the Megan Kelly, just beat out Megan Kelly at the iHeartRadio Awards. So
It's
good
been
for them.
interesting to listen to Megan Kelly talk recently. Like she's also singing a different tune many times lately.
Yeah, well, I
Across
think
the board, there is such a shift going on right now that if you don't know who represents what, it's kind of hard to put it together because the colors are changing daily and people are hiding in new places. So two things I would say to that is one, watch who you listen to, and two, be afraid of the sheep in wolves' clothing.
well, and the other
Or
thing is,
vice versa, the wolf in sheep's clothing.
and I agree with you, but it's also, I mean, if anybody's ever taken Psychology 101, you dance with the date who brung you until the date who brung you fucks up so bad you can't dance with them anymore. And what I mean by that is, and I know I'm not naive. I know there's a lot of hypocrisy and money making going on in all of this. But when you're finally at a point where like a Megan Kelly and all of those see the writing on the wall and they want to continue to be on TV and they want to continue to have an audience and continue to make money. They're realizing everything this guy's touching is turning to shit. And he's the lowest approval rating of any president in US history. It's 41% now across the board. When your date shit's on the dance floor, you kind of have to distance yourself. And I
In
think
fact, I've been on a dance floor when someone took a dump, and you never saw a place clear so fast. I just want you to know it's a good, accurate statement.
do with that. Okay,
I love dropping
no,
facts.
no.
These are facts. These
I
are facts.
I
And
kind
these aren't fake news facts. These are Jim Houck facts. Jim Houck was there when someone took a dump on a dance floor.
so I'm torn at this moment because there's a part of me wants to hear more of this story, and there's another part of me's like, I don't want any more of this story at all. So we'll just move forward. Maybe I'll ask you off camera. But yeah, no, I
You
mean,
can ask that one in the comments. We'll do that.
okay, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think as this goes on, and so it's one thing. I mean, I don't know if you're a baseball fan. I am not, but there is a term that I think just absolutely sums all this up, and that's forced error, which in baseball means that you fucked up because you fucked up, not because you missed a ball or whatever, but you fucked up. You blew the play. So that's what this is. So when George W. Bush lied to us all and we went into Iraq.
We didn't know he was lying to us right away.
No. But I'm saying, agreed. Hindsight 2020. When he lied to us and we went into Iraq, if I remember correctly, for the most part, oil prices and all that fluctuated very little because they went in and we had enough reserves and they took control of the oil the best they could and all of that. So while that was ill-conceived and ill-timed and ill every fucking thing, at least there was some sense to. I hate to say that, but you get my point. At least there was a little bit of strategic planning. Okay, not a lot, but a little.
We had a lot more people willing to say, "I agree."
Well, the other thing is it did not blow up the world economy. We can agree with that. We were there. I mean, seriously, it didn't. I'm not saying things didn't fluctuate a little bit. It wasn't like shit.
It wasn't. People didn't stop traveling because of it like they are right now.
Right. Well, that's the first thing. The second thing is, and it depends on what you believe. I truly believe because they're saying that people around Trump did say, hey, sir, as he likes to say, the Strait of Hormuz is going to be a problem. Iran's going to fight back. And all that. I believe his narcissism has kicked in and he's like, fuck it, I'm the strongest man in the strongest army and we're just going to be fine. Yeah, so it's one thing to start an illegal war and get the American people behind you, like we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. At least in the beginning, we were all so traumatized by 9/11. I remember somebody gave me a baseball cap and embroidered on it was an American flag and embroidered on the back and said, somebody's going to get their ass kicked. I'll never forget that. I never wore it. I'm not that guy, but I didn't fully disagree with that sentiment at the time. As lefty as I am, I'm like, somebody's got to pay for this.
And I think that's the times at that time, people, regardless of which party you were in, found it a patriotic fit to agree
Oh,
with
because
what was going on because you hit America's heart.
you attacked American soil. The last time somebody did that, I mean, some historical folks correct me if I'm wrong. I think the last time somebody did that was 1812.
Well, no, it would have been World War II.
They didn't attack U.S. soil.
Japanese did. The Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. What do you call that?
My apologies. My apologies.
I was just like,
No,
whoa, where did I go?
sorry. No, 100% correct. I'm thinking of mainland. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I love Hawaii. I lived
Hey,
in.
Hawaiians, even though you're flash flooding right now and struggling with the weather, Chuck doesn't mind because you're not part of his
No,
contiguous United States.
oh, no. I lived in Hawaii for 2 years. I loved Hawaii. Part of my heart is in Hawaii, but I meant the mainland. So it's interesting. I know you're teasing me, but part of this, when you live in Hawaii, they are proud American to their core, but not political because it's 6,000 miles from DC. It's
Right.
really interesting. It's like they're very fiercely patriotic, but they're
Yeah.
detached from the minutia.
Right,
So
right.
I'm sorry. So
Because most of it doesn't even help them.
all due respect to my Hawaiian friends, I didn't mean it that way. But New York City, attacking Hawaii is one thing, attacking New York City is another.
Right,
And
right.
so the mainland had not been attacked, I don't believe, since 1812. So that was a punch in the face. And we were like, fuck this. Somebody's getting punched back. But again, there was a coalition. Took a year. I go back and this blew my mind. I was reading about this the other day. I didn't remember it being this long. It's about a year of them talking to allies and getting their ducks in a row. So even though there were people like myself and I assume you who were like, nah, this is bullshit. Because I remember telling a friend of mine, he's like, well, they have weapons of mass destruction. I'm like, no, they don't. He goes, how do you know? I said,
Hans
because
Zimmerman said they did. Come on, Chuck. Once again, you're believing this
Well,
radical left.
no, truly, I called this before it happened, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I used context clues, and let me explain. I mean, it's probably because I, have narcissists in my family. It is much easier for me to threaten you and tell you I have a gun in my pocket than to actually purchase said gun, clean said gun, maybe get in some serious trouble for having it in my pocket, concealed. It's much easier for me to say, I have a gun, don't get near me.
Right,
And
right.
the UN inspector said, checked it, there was no fucking weapons. And I thought, he's saber rattling. That's what you do. He's doing the machismo thing. And of course it turned out to be true. But anyway, you go in Iran because, and it's funny, there's been 18 different reasons why we went to Iran, but I think the one that came out, I think it was the second or third one, I think is probably true, which is Netanyahu was going anyway, so we had to go.
Right.
I believe that's the reason.
And so
Because we
is
talked about this
Netanyahu still alive, Chuck? Is he injured?
No clue.
I mean,
No
the
clue.
number of AI questions that have come up this week and proof of life videos.
I know. I have no clue. All I'll say is this. But no, I mean, like we talked about this last week. They are not a fucking ally. They take our money and then do whatever they want. And so I believe that Netanyahu was like, hey, I'm pushing the first button at 10 a.m. Are you with me? And Trump was like, well, I'm not going to be left out of this because I got to show my dick's bigger than his. So yes, I will. So we did all of that. Strait of Hormuz is almost closed. Gas prices have shot up. I went to
$100 a barrel for oil.
So I live 2 miles from my local Walmart. So I went to Walmart this morning. This is hand to God truth. Drive by. There are 3 gas. I live at a place where it's an interchange on a major highway. So like when you hop off there's 3 gas stations, 2 on one side of the road and 1 on the other. So when you drive up, you see the gas stations. Gas was $3.90 a gallon or $3.89 a gallon. Sorry. I go to Walmart. I shop. I'm there. Let's call it half an hour. I know that Walmart, unfortunately, like I could close my eyes and shop there. I'm there so often. So let's say I'm there half an hour. On my way back, all 3, $3.99. Went up 10 cents, just like that. So we are where I live, it's $3.99 a gallon. I have no doubt that tomorrow or the next day it'll be over $4.
Well, that's the one comment that's come out, right? As much as there was this talk about the economics of this will hit in the future, it's hitting now. Your
Right.
pocketbook's hitting hard. And this week, one of the things I was thankful for is I drive an electric car. I could keep driving for Uber and making money
Right.
without seeing more of it go towards the cost of making my car drive.
Well-
The sun just keeps beaming on my house and it's free.
Right. Well, and the crazy thing is, I don't think most people thought this. I don't think most Americans thought this through until it hit us. Okay, gas prices, that blows. That blows. Gas prices have gone up, what, 33% roughly? Because it was right at 290. I think it was right at 290 before this started. Now it's at 390. So let's call it 33%. It's gone up 33%. Okay, gas prices, that fucking hurts. Trucking now has gone through the roof. I work for a company and we deliver things all over the world. That has blown up crazy since diesel's over dollars a gallon. So that also means the things that are being delivered going up. Food, medicine, all of these things. And then add on top of that, I saw a number today, and I don't know if it's true or not, but farming bankruptcies in this country are pushing 50%. 50%. Half the farmers don't have any fertilizer right now. A lot of the reason he got elected were farmers. God, especially around here. There's not.
So that's what I was saying. Jimmy Carter is probably the last president who had a bad farm situation, right? He
Right.
was the last person whose economics and choices, although he was a farmer, hurt the American farmer. He
Right.
really, and so that's what I was saying. So
No, and you're not wrong. But I'm going to give Jimmy Carter a little bit of a pass for that.
sure,
No. I know you're not hammering. I'm just we're equating. Jimmy
I do
Carter.
want to bring it up. It's also a Democrat. Imagine that.
Oh no, I know. But no, it's really interesting though, because anybody who's a student of history and economics and any kind of thing will know that this is true. Jimmy Carter inherited the first ever worldwide recession. There had never been a global recession before.
Right.
So not handling it correctly, while sad, it was a 50-50 shot. I mean, it's not like, if it had happened 3 or 4 times before and he could have read books and talked to people, that would be one thing. But yeah, no, he made some bad calls and all of that. And he got punished for it. He didn't get a second term. But I think if you're handed a shit show and it's a 50-50 whether you handle it correctly, I don't think you should not, and I'm not saying you were, I'm not saying we should vilify a man for picking the wrong 50%.
No, I get that, and I don't feel like while I did not like Jimmy Carter much in his office and his age and wisdom and what he did for the world post presidency, the man is spades better than anyone else.
Oh God, amazing, no doubt. And I'm not saying you were hammering him. I'm just saying since we're talking about since we're talking about forced errors and all that, this fucking happened 24 years ago in all of our lifetimes, and Trump didn't see it. So what I was saying is, a lot of the farmers, and there are not a lot of farmers around here, but there's a big farmer up the road here, and Farmers for Trump, this big ass sign and everything else. Like, okay, and a lot of farmers believed his economic bullshit and his America First bullshit, and a lot of farmers out in the Midwest voted for him, and he has, without a doubt, fucked him every chance he gets. First thing with the tariff and beef prices. And then he makes a deal with Venezuela or Argentina. Anyway, he made a deal with the South American country for the beef. And the beef farmers in the U.S. are, what the fuck's going on here? We're getting ready to lose our shirt. But then now fuel prices have shot way up. Food prices have shot way up. But half the farmers in our country don't have fertilizer because guess what? That comes from Iran and it comes through the Strait of Hormuz. So they're looking at shutting their farms down. So I'm looking at all these poor farmers.
We're making America great again, folks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at all these poor dummies who were like, I'm going to back him and I'm not backing her. She's going to really screw us over. Well, how you feeling now? Half of you losing your farms, and that breaks my heart. It truly does. I don't think anybody should lose their livelihood and their legacy and their family.
Take it to where the problem
over a bad mistake.
Go to where the problem is. So, this guy in charge has promised you the world, and he's delivered you shit. When they nuke Iran, if they nuke Iran, that is really going to be unusable. So you think we're in there for the oil? Now we've got a bunch of radiated oil. What do you do with radiated oil, Chuck?
I don't know if you can do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm being serious. I'm not a chemist. I don't know.
I don't think you can. Radiated is radiated,
Yeah.
I guess if you're living in Iran, it doesn't matter because you can use radiated oil there,
Yeah, because you're already irradiated. Yeah,
when that third eye really grows for the first time, I just really want to know what everybody thinks.
Well, the sad thing to me is that I'm really, really angry. I tried not to be. I really, really did. I've tried not to be, but I am really, really angry at roughly half of the United States, half of my fellow citizens who are now, some are waking up and going, "This is not what we voted for." Yes, you fucking did. Maybe you didn't think you were voting for this level.
I'm being censored.
Are you serious? Are you being serious? Okay. Well, I've been saying some pretty wild shit too, and they haven't gotten me yet.
Well, but aren't they? They only take one of us out to make this whole thing fail.
You're correct.
By the way, if you're not aware, there's a huge cybersecurity event going on Monday, the RSA conference, which for those of you who are know anything about cybersecurity, biggest world leading security conference around. That's happening Monday.
Mm.
Same day we're going to nuke. Be aware that you will probably see cyber disruptions tomorrow. And yeah, so let's get back to the 50% of the voters who we don't really know because the elections are probably so tampered with anyways. And,
Well,
Trump won and we know that's true.
well, the ones that are coming out of the dark and going, I didn't vote for this. Okay, maybe you didn't think you were voting for shock troops killing American citizens on the streets. Maybe you didn't vote for that. And you know what? I'll buy that. I'll buy that because I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams thought that they were going to pass a $800 billion budget or whatever the hell it is for ICE, and that they were going to be masked and roaming the streets, because the lie sold was that we're only going after the baddies. Okay, fine. Maybe you didn't think that Trump was going to start a war with anybody or bomb anybody because he ran on America first, no endless wars. Maybe you thought that, even though we all told you, and I'm serious, and major economists said that his tariff idea is a horrible one and is going to tank the economy. Maybe you thought, nah, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I trust this guy more than I trust that black lady. Well, guess what? It's worse than we all could have thought, and we're still dealing with it. So here's what I'm going to suggest, and I've said this before. I never, ever, ever am going to tell anybody how to vote. I don't. That's your God-given right. And I wish there was a time. I saw a video. I don't remember how it came up, but I wish there was a time where we didn't like meet each other and, hey, I'm Chuck and I vote Democratic. How do you vote? I mean, I wish there was a time where that wasn't a topic of conversation all the fucking time. But I will say this, and I cannot believe I am saying these words, so buckle up. I actually agree with Nick Fuentes when he came out and said he's voting Democrat or not voting at all. So if you're a Trump voter who now is thinking, what the fuck did I do? Don't vote. If you can't bring yourself to pull the trigger on a Democrat, pardon, I meant the voter thing. Don't. Okay. I don't want you to completely subjugate your beliefs, but don't vote. Let the Democrats at least take the House so this asshole is reined in, because his cabinet's not going to do the 25th Amendment. The Republicans aren't going to do shit. Somebody's got to step up to this guy. And at this point, for me, it is, but it's not even about the death of democracy and all of that. Have we not realized now that this dude doesn't give a fuck about anybody or anything, and literally is ruling on a whim?
Uh-huh.
And I also, not only is he ruling on a whim, Jim and I could take the next hour and tick off all of the decisions he's made that have been horrible and harmed the American people. So please stay the fuck home. Just don't. If you can't bring yourself to bubble in a Democrat, just don't vote. Just don't vote. For one time in history, when it was just like in 2016, when I begged everybody that I knew, even Democrats, fucking vote. Oh, Hillary's got it locked. Please vote. Please vote, because I'm a fairly astute political guy. I've followed it my whole life, and I maintain this. And I maintain this for Hillary Clinton, and I maintain this for Kamala Harris. The worst case scenario, I think, for both of those people was a mediocre presidency. I don't think either one of them would have gotten into an unwinnable war. I don't think they would have tanked the economy. I think it would have been a Joe Biden sort of thing. And I know people say a lot of shit about Joe Biden, but he did inherit a shit show from Trump and COVID and all that. But he got some things done, but for the most part, it was not a flashy presidency. It was a mediocre presidency. I knew in my heart of hearts what Donald Trump was going to do. And the only reason he had any restraint in the first term is because he followed the norm, if you will, and put people around him who were experts who at least said, sir, bad idea. We probably shouldn't do it this way. Got his second chance. And I mean, Pete Hegseth, come on. Tulsi Gabbard. I hope she can't sleep at night. They're rolling this video nonstop on different things of her when she ran in 2020.
Right.
Yeah, 2020. And she's like, Donald Trump is going to get us into an unwinnable war with Iran. He's going to fuck everything up. Gas prices are going to shoot up. It's going to be whatever. And now she's like, oh, well, the president's doing a great job. It's like, you have sold your soul, lady. And I know a lot of them do, but it's like, they're not going to stand up to him. None of them are.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry. Long tirade.
No, it's fair. And I think it's a great time for you to, well, I don't know, folks. I think it's time for a happy ending.
And here's your happy ending. Jim, this will be close to your, or at least geographically close to your heart. A small dog named Coco, missing for 2 years from Texas, has finally returned home after being spotted more than 1,000 miles away in New Jersey and lovingly cared for by local police officers while her family raced to bring her back. On March 4th, someone spotted Coco wandering on a shopping mall in Clark, New Jersey, about 1,300 miles from her home in Glen Heights, Texas. Where's Glen Heights? Do you know where that is?
I don't have to.
Okay.
I'll have a look.
I should have looked it up. A passerby noticed the little dog running around the shopping center and called the Clark Township Police Department. Officer Nick Kiris responded to the call and brought Coco back to police headquarters. They were able to locate a pet finder service connected to the dog and eventually obtain contact information for the last recorded owner. When Kiris made the call, the reaction on the other line was pure shock. Family immediately made plans to fly to New Jersey, and a reunion was scheduled for a few days later on March 7th. Instead of sending
So Glen Heights is part of DeSoto, I guess. It's only about 20 minutes south of me. So there you go.
Very
And
cool.
if they'd only known, I actually have a pet locator scanner kit here at home because I care. And when your
That's
dog
very
goes missing, you can come to my house if you find a dog, and I will scan it for you.
That is very cool. So Jim's dog scanning service. All right, instead of sending her to a shelter, officers, and I give credit where credit is due. I'm not a big fan of the police, but officers decided to care for her themselves while waiting for the family to arrive. Other than being sent to a shelter, members of the Clark they cared for the dog for the next 3 days, the department explained. Officers bathed her, fed her treats, took her for regular walks, and made sure she was comfortable with blankets and toys. Some of the supplies were even purchased by staff members with their own money. There you go. I hope I don't have a dog, but I hope if anybody's dog ever gets lost, there is a police force that has that big of a heart and takes care of the dog. And I love that story. 2 years. Can you imagine if you lost one of
a
your
long
pets?
time to even think you'll see your dog again, let alone
Right.
actually see it.
And I mean, we could probably figure it out, but how in the hell did that dog get 1,300 miles away? Must have jumped in a semi truck or something. Yeah, went for a ride, man. But 1,300
Wow.
miles, that's Jesus, that's it's like 4 days in a car without food and water, unless somebody was like, hey, this stray dog, I'll take care of it. Don't know. Anyway, bottom line, Coco, you're back with your people. You're only 20 miles from Jim. Maybe you'll end up in Jim's yard. And if you do, he can scan you and send you home.
Wow. What a long way about for that.
Hey, I do what I can. One less idiot.
I don't consider you an idiot, Chuck.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you. I know there are some right-wing folks that probably glance by this channel who are like, who is that moron? But, and the bottom line is, folks, we're all Americans. That's number one. And we all should be on the same page, diligent, and ever ready to help out.
Diligent, vigilant, and always ready.
Well, to help out other Americans. And right now, our fellow people are suffering. And most of it is because of the shit decisions being made by this regime. And that's just the truth. And we can argue that, please put it in the comments. We can debate, not argue. We can debate all day long, but unless you're Karoline Leavitt or one of those people, if you really can look me straight in the eye and say that you think that Donald Trump's policies are helping the average everyday American, then
you got to take Karoline Leavitt off that list because she could.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to tell me that, you're going to have to tell me how. It can't be a blanket statement. You got to give me for instances because I don't know of any. I mean, how bad is it that for a while there, he was going to make prices lower day one, and he was going to do this and never did. But for a while there, before his little Iran excursion, as he calls it.
Yeah, when did incursions are wars, excursions are trips, the things you do on a cruise.
I heard somebody say something about that the other day, and they said they think that maybe they said incursion, he heard excursion, and that's what he keeps using. And that's another thing, like I was talking about with narcissists, when they say something and it sounds pithy and interesting to their ear, they will beat it to death. And that is Donald Trump, like nobody's ever seen. I mean, it's always that. Anyway, no, how was it right before he attacked Iran that the one big thing they could tout was, well, gas prices are down. Now it's, how gas prices have gone up faster than any time in U.S. history. And now they're saying, what's that dumb woman from, I think she's running for office in Michigan or something like that. And she goes, well, just go to Starbucks one less time a week. And that'll cover the gas. And it's like, I love what somebody said. Aren't you tired as American people being told you should do with less? Aren't you tired of that? And only because of piss poor moves by this administration. Not because, hey, if we were in a worldwide recession, if this was COVID again and we were all suffering all over the world the same, fine. yeah, I'll do without because that's something, well, but if it's because you keep making dumb decisions and tanking the economy, no, I don't want to do without anymore.
Yep. Amen.
Anyway, Jim, I can tell you're done, my friend. So let's
It's
call
just
it.
been it's a week. We've had a lot go on. I told you it sort of feels like I enjoy getting here and talking to you, but I also know that I get so tired of this because you spend the whole week dealing with this shit.
I agree. I agree.
God love all of you because we're all going through this together right now. And yeah, we're just going through it together.
I think that's that should be our short this week. That was perfect.
Yeah.
So folks, thank you for coming. If you're here, please like and subscribe. Please ask your friends. Just push that subscribe button. It really helps us. We're not going to beat you up with emails and all that kind of crazy nonsense. So just help us out. If you like this at all, if you don't like this, if you think we're complete morons, please subscribe because then you can just yell at the screen when you watch it once a week. But
Yeah.
we definitely
encourage healthy anger management.
Right. Healthy dialogue, healthy anger. We love you folks to death. We thank you very much. Jim, always my friend. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely, Chuck.
I know I know this is rough, but I hope this is as cathartic to you.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It is rough. I know we talked about we could do these longer, and I think I told you back in the day. I was like, I just hit a wall somewhere around that 45-minute mark between ADHD, sugar lows, and just filling the meter hit, right? Like it's like,
I got you.
So it's not that we couldn't talk more. And if folks want us to, we'll go twice a week if we have to.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but we'll do it.
We'll do that.
But,
all right.
as you might
I'll be
remember,
better
we're
next
doing
week.
a book club, right? So don't forget to pick up your
Right.
copy of Church and Hate. We don't have a discount. We don't have any affiliations. Just if
No.
you want to know what we're going to talk about on Easter, it's going to be the separation of church and hate. I would love, and I'm going to ask, I would hope I could get my minister in here because, boy, he would be a great progressive minister to talk to this with us too.
That'd be fun.
If not, we'll find somebody, or we may push the date to talk about it. But I'm working on that because I think it'd be great to have one more person who's not normally part of this discussion to talk through the book and kind of share their insights. I'd love a religious person if you think you're a qualified religious person who's read Church and Hate, Separate Church and Hate. Hey, if the author wants to come on here, I mean, Chuck, would you say yeah to the author?
Goodness, yeah. Oh my goodness, yes. Let's do it. Yeah, I love, obviously, a spirited debate. And I think that the state of Christianity, at least in this country, is ripe for an honest, open, loving debate. Not gotcha, not...
This is a great book. This book is probably one of the best things you could ever read that can take things that have been banked over your head for years about what the Bible says, brings them into a modern sense. It's referencing King James and other versions of the Bible, even gets into the prosperity gospels, which for those of you who are part of the megachurch movement probably are aware of. But it brings it in and it tells you to think. And I think this is why it's a good book for us. It's why we are both reading it. It's a topic that we all sorely need to review in this country because it is time to realize what's happening with what you believe in if you're a Christian and how it's being plugged against you. And if you're not a Christian, you should be aware of what's coming at you because this thing where people are talking about Christianity in America is not right. It's not what we're supposed to be. So,
well, and I think the best part about this book, and I'm dead serious. I'm excited to finish it. I've been reading it a little bit every day, as much as I have time for it. I'm making time for it. Anyway, I think the best way to say it is, and this is probably going to piss a lot of people off, but it's a really factual, logical way to look at something that is allegorical. And I'm not going to get into are parts of the Bible real and not. And I'm just saying in general, obviously it's faith. It's a way because what faith is the absence of proof. That I know that's a really shorthand way of saying it, but it's a really logical and I think the other thing is I think what I like about the book most, and I am not a religious person in any way, shape, or form. I've said
it's very important for folks to know too, because this isn't you preaching something you believe.
No, and in fact, quite the opposite. But I do have a respect for all documents of faith, whether it's the Bhagavad Gita, whether it's the Torah, whether it's the full Bible, whether it's the Tao Te Ching, whatever it is, I have a respect for solemn texts. And I think even though John Fugelsang is incredibly funny and irreverent, he treats the entirety of the argument with utmost respect. And I think that's what that's what's tweaking me, is that throughout it, there's no part where he makes light of any of the scripture.
Yes.
He makes
Matter of
argument.
fact, what he does very well, and I love this, what we're going to get into when we start talking, is he takes and tells you what the scripture says and gives you a point of what's been referenced.
Mhm.
And then oftentimes says, and here's the part they don't share,
Right.
which is the immediately following protest, kind of sets the tone for why it was said, right?
He puts it in
Scripture's a great
context.
way of saying, here's what you should do, and here's why. Well, they're forgetting the whys sometimes, right?
Right, and I think a lot of, like, the prosperity gospels and a lot of the shysters, I'm just gonna say it, I'm not naming names, but a lot of the religious shysters, for lack of a better term, just like politicians, take things out of context to make the point they want to make, and I feel like what he does, and I'm being way oversimplistic, but kind of what you were just saying, he takes the line before and the line after as well.
Yeah.
It's more than that, but he's not
Puts it
just
all in
taking.
perspective. It's all about
Right.
knowing how it all
He's
fits.
giving you the full context, and I think that's brilliant. We should probably stop talking about this, because
Yeah.
we could talk for hours about this, and neither one of us has finished the book, and we will do this whole thing.
Well, we may cut this and just make it a short preview of.
Okay.
All right,
I can
everybody.
do that.
Thanks. Appreciate you being here. Chuck, again, thank you. Thanks for talking
Right.
about Christianity with a poor progressive Christian like me. And wish
No
you have a
problem.
great week. And I look forward to seeing everybody again and hearing from us. And please, folks, join us, talk, let us know what's going on, share your comments, share your thoughts. We occasionally get some really good stuff. Someone asked us where our degree in poli sci. So, and I said, well, I'll show you mine when you show me yours.
Exactly.
So, hey, we love a good debate, but just be real.
Absolutely.
All
Well,
right.
Jim,
Thanks, everybody.
love you. Take care. See everybody. See you next week.